I gotta say, I think you guys are sleeping on. And I quote, "It's insane to me that Pepe and Macca are both Ronies." Out of all of the drafts, I thought that was the best. I sent it to my Discord. I appreciate. Did you attribute it? Did you attribute it? What does it mean? I didn't get it. Pepperoni, macaroni. They're so different, and yet they're both Ronies. That's so weird. It's inspiring. Hey, can I explain the jokes? If you need an explanation, here you go. The worst one for sure was Juan de Fuca straight sounds like something John Malkovich would say in Rounders. How does it sound like something John Malkovich would say in Rounders? Rounders is a poker movie where John Malkovich famously has a bad Russian accent. It sounds like he would say that to Matt Damon. He'd be like, Juan de Fuca straight? Because we were camping in Juan de Fuca Provincial Park, so it was on my mind. I think there's really something to the good morning to good evening tweet. Good morning to good night, I should say. Because good morning is a normal thing to say. Good day is something you only say if you're a medieval time traveler. Like if someone came up to me and was like, good day, I would be confused. First thing I would think of is you are not from around here temporally, not geographically. The good afternoon, very normal. I'm a good afternoon, good morning guy. Let me tell you, it's based on where we're at in the day. If I see someone and it's before noon, I say good morning. If I see someone and it's afternoon but before dinner time, which I know is subjective, I say good afternoon. And then if it's after dinner time, I say have a good night. I don't say good night because good night is like too intimate. That's like something you only say to your friends or your loved ones. You can't be at the grocery store 15 minutes before close and they say, here's your food. Do you want a receipt? And you say, no, thank you. Good night. Because they'd be like wanting to throw hands. They'd be like, what do you mean good night? Do I look like I'm in my pajamas right now? Do I look like I'm going to bed? Does it seem like we're going to spend the next 45 years together? I don't think so. So you say, have a good night. Okay, so to recap, good morning, totally normal. Good day, insane time traveler. Good afternoon, totally normal. Good evening, only Dracula says it. If you see someone and they say good evening, you can't not say it in a voice like Vincent Price, welcoming someone to like a haunted house. Good evening. Even the only other time you hear it is from like a maitre d' or something like that. Good evening is not something normal people say on the regular, at least according to me, according to my worldview. And then good night, totally normal, which is messed up, right? That the only thing that's changing is the time of the day. No wonder people have a hard time navigating the social complexities of the world. Like good morning, perfectly normal to say. Good night, how dare you assume we have such intimacy with one another? The only thing that changed is like it's from sun up to sundown. How about howdy? Howdy would work. Hey, howdy, hey. You know what I'm talking about? Riders in the Sky. You've been listening to a lot of the Toy Story 2 soundtrack. Anybody else? I've got spurs that jingle, jangle, jingle as I go quite merrily along. Great song. Anyway, what else was there? I forgot the rest. What was the other tweet? Tragic Sands. That's just because like we were on Vancouver Island, and once you get far enough west on Vancouver Island, all of the signs that say like welcome to blank city are in Comic Sans, which is fucking insane. Like they had to pick a font to say like welcome to Shirley. And the town is called Shirley, and the restaurant in Shirley is called Shirley Delicious. When I drove by, me with my urban sensibilities, look at that, a pun-named restaurant. Bet it sucks. Me in the provincial park, reading Western Vancouver Island Monthly, finding out Shirley Delicious has been chosen as a top 20 restaurant in the entire country. Oh, we gotta go there. Driving back the other direction, the parking lot's stuffed. People are parked on the highway. I'm like, I'm not stopping at Shirley Delicious. It's too busy. But I can't believe that, like, of all the fonts you could choose, Vancouver Island said straight up, we're going Comic Sans for the whole island, except Victoria. Victoria takes itself seriously. I got kind of ratted on a little bit. People were very upset with me. I said, I know I'm from Vancouver, but Victoria is weird as hell. They said, what do you mean? I didn't reply, but we parked our car, and right outside of our car, there was just a dude. He was like at least 38 years old. He had an empty water bottle, and he was doing like hacky sack with it in the parking lot. And he didn't look like he lived in the parking lot. Like, he just looked like he was well dressed, he was well groomed, but he was playing hacky sack with like this empty water bottle. And I looked at Kate and I was like, I'm not sure like I should park here. It just doesn't feel right. And she was like, oh, he's just like having fun. And then he took the water bottle and fucking yeeted it. David De Gea style. Like he kicked it like as far through the underground parking lot as he could. And I was like, this is just a weird energy. Then he went over and there were like these 3-foot tall traffic cones, you know, the kinds that are like, don't drive your car here. And he just started kicking the shit out of it like judo style. Like he was just squaring up with the traffic cones and then kicking them. And then one of them fell over and he jogged away. And he got into his car and he drove away. And what's insane is that his car had like the name of a business on it. Like, I don't know if he was just decompressing and this is like what he does to let off some steam, but it was really weird. It was not surely delicious. I'm not going to out the business because then I Googled the business and I looked at the picture of the owner and he was not the owner. And I was like, okay, I'm not going to hold it against the business. Just because one of their employees is like, you know, blowing off steam in the parking lot. If it was the owner, I would have been like, I'm never going there.